The lighthouse stood tall and proud on the rocky cliffs. It had a big light that shone brightly, warning ships to stay away from danger. The lighthouse had been there for many years, and it had seen many ships come and go. But even though the lighthouse was important, it felt lonely. It wished it could move and sail with the ships. It wanted to have adventures, but it was stuck in one place. Every day and night the lighthouse watched the ships sail by. It wondered where they were going and what they would see. The lighthouse longed to be a part of their journeys, but it knew it could not. One day, a terrible storm came. The wind howled and the waves crashed against the rocks. The storm was the worst the lighthouse had ever seen. The sky turned dark gray and rain lashed down with fury. The lighthouse was scared. The wind tried to push it over and the waves crashed against its walls. The lighthouse felt itself swaying in the wind. It feared that this storm would be the end of its long watch. The storm raged on and on. The lighthouse felt weaker and weaker. It was finding it harder and harder to keep its light shining. The storm seemed to go on forever. The lighthouse was exhausted. It wanted to give up. "What is my purpose?" it thought. "I am just a lonely lighthouse." The storm laughed at the lighthouse. "Give up!" it roared. "No one will ever see your light in this storm." The lighthouse felt a growing darkness within. It was so tired. Almost defeated, the lighthouse began to dim its light. It seemed pointless to keep fighting. The storm was winning. Suddenly, through the noise of the storm, the lighthouse heard a sound. It was a faint sound, but it was a sound of hope. It was the sound of a ship's horn. The sound of the horn was a cry for help. The ship was lost in the storm and in danger of crashing on the rocks. The lighthouse knew it had to do something. It couldn't let the ship crash. It was its duty to guide the ship to safety. The lighthouse had to find its strength. The lighthouse took a deep breath and shone its light as brightly as it could. It focused all its energy on keeping its light strong and steady. The lighthouse had to warn the ship and guide it to safety. The ship saw the light and knew that land was near. It also knew that the lighthouse would guide it through the storm. The ship's horn blasted again in acknowledgement, a sound of gratitude. With renewed purpose, the lighthouse stood firm against the storm. It would not let the ship down. It would be a beacon of hope. Slowly, the storm began to calm down. The wind became quieter, and the waves were not as high. The rain stopped, and the clouds parted. The ship was safe. It had sailed through the storm, and was now sailing away on calm waters. The lighthouse had saved the ship. It had done its job. As the sun rose, the lighthouse felt a warmth inside. It was a feeling of pride and happiness. It had fought the storm and won. The lighthouse didn't feel lonely anymore. It realized that it had an important job to do. It had to guide ships and keep them safe. It was a beacon of hope in the darkness. The lighthouse knew that it would never sail with the ships, but it was happy to stay in its place and guide them on their journeys. It was a lighthouse, and that was all it needed to be. Every time the lighthouse saw a ship sail by, it felt a sense of pride. It was proud to be a lighthouse, and it was proud to be a beacon of light in the vastness of the sea.